Hi everybody, I'm Elise from the blog LePetiteSaintCrochet.com, and today I am not coming to you from the craft room, but from Edisto Island, South Carolina. This is a place that we have been coming to every year for about the past 17 or 18 years. It is a place that we love, and I'm getting some knitting done, and I want to show you. I just want to show you all kinds of things. I visited a local yarn shop, and I got the most gorgeous hand-dyed yarn. I can't wait to share that with you. And also, I'm going to be answering some questions that I got on Instagram, so I can't wait to share everything with you. So if you remember, a couple of videos ago, I talked about the Yarn Bird Make-Along that Dawn from Dawn's Days and Jeanette from Crafty Clay Creations were putting together. And I was debating between doing the woodpecker from Animal Friends at Peek Pow and also the little cheeky bird from Tiny Curl. And I went back and forth, and then I finally decided that I was gonna do something completely different. I have this beautiful book, Knitted Animal Friends by Louise Crowther. This book is absolutely beautiful, and there is an owl design that she has in here that I decided I was going to do. So I've been knitting him. He is not finished. This is the largest knitted toy project. Actually, it's the largest crocheted or knitted toy project that I have ever done. He is going to be huge. I'm almost done making all the body parts. I'm just really excited about it. The clothing that is available for each one of the patterns is absolutely incredible. I'll go into a more in-depth review of this book in a future video because I really want to share my thoughts on it. But for now, I'm going to show you the little pieces that I've already done. So I've gotten most of the body done on my little owl. He is going to be massive. So I've gotten the head done, the body, both arms. I've gotten one leg done. I'm about a quarter of the way into the second leg, and then it has two little ears. It's going to be absolutely adorable. But then he has the most exquisite, gorgeous clothes. He has a cable knit sweater, a pair of pants, which I may make into shorts since it'll be quicker, and a little pair of shoes. But once I'm completely done with that entire project, I'm going to show it all to you because this is an amazing book. 2 days ago, we headed into the cutest little historic town of Beaufort, South Carolina, and I went to this adorable little local yarn shop called Coastal Knitting. I cannot wait to share this. Let me just get the yarn out because I am at a loss for words. I got 3 skeins of, fiber seed. I got 3 skeins of this fiber seed hand-dyed yarn. It is absolutely so spectacularly gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It is, my hair's in my face. It is so beautiful, and I chose this beautiful yellow, and it has some whites and some actual purples in there, and then there is a white with some blues and grays, and then this beautiful sort of a denim-y blue that has some darker blue and lighter blue, and I just felt like it reminded me of the sun and the ocean and the waves and the sand, and I just thought this is going to be beautiful. Now, typically you know that I love to make amigurumi. I love to knit and crochet toys, but this, guys, I have decided to make a shawl for myself. It's something that I've really wanted to do, and it is a design by Isabel Kramer, and let me make sure I know the name of the design. What did I write down? The shawl is called A Girl's Best Friend, and it is absolutely beautiful, and you may hear Olive wandering around down here. Yes, we brought Olive, our kitten, with us on vacation to the beach, but anyway, I am so obsessed with this yarn. I literally cannot wait to start knitting with this, but I'm gonna finish my owl first because here's a little secret, not a secret, but a little fact about me. I don't really like more than one whip, work in progress. I'm a one whip girl. So I'm going to finish the owl first before I begin casting on, but this yarn, oh, it's huge though. It's 550 yards. This is going to make at least one shawl. If you're ever in Beaufort, South Carolina, make sure to stop by Coastal Knitting. So a couple of weeks ago, I asked people on Instagram to, hey, ask me some questions that I can answer on a future YouTube video. And I got some really good questions, and I wrote them down in my little notebook here. So I want to go through each one of these because you might find them interesting as well. But the first one is from @Layhugh on Instagram, and she asked, yarn, how do we choose? Basically, the way I go about choosing yarn for a project is looking at what does the designer recommend first. And then I really look at the weight and the yardage and the gauge that is usually on a yarn label. And if I can't get that particular yarn, or I want to use something that I already have, I really look to see, is it about the same? Because I typically like to use yarns that are fairly similar in size and weight to what the designer is using, just because I am more certain that my project will turn out the way I like it. Now, if I've made a project more than once, then I can go back and experiment a little bit. But usually for the first time, I like to choose that. Really, it depends on your budget, whether you want to buy some really expensive yarn or if you need to go like super budget friendly. But there are a lot of options. I love Crafts. It's an online store, and I buy pretty much 99% of my yarn from them because they always have a sale. They always have a coupon. I'm gonna leave a description for it in the box below in case you would like to shop. It is a company based out of the UK, and I'm in the US, but I get my yarn lickety split. It never has been an issue. So if you're looking for something, and they always have the information at the bottom for what the weight of the yarn, all of the gauge information, everything that you need to make a decision. So Dawn YM62 asked on Instagram, how often do you crochet? Is it every day, and for how long? I usually try to knit or crochet every evening. I usually don't have time during the day between my family and blog or YouTube work to be able to knit or crochet during the day. So usually kind of after dinner, after everybody is settled. You okay, Olive? She's scratching, and that's her little jingle bell on her collar. So usually I am doing that in the evenings when everything is kind of settled down and the kitchen has been cleaned up, and I can just sort of sit down and we watch TV or a movie or something, and I can sit and relax and not have any distractions. So the next question I sort of already answered with the last question, but it is from Hannah Ingrid on Instagram, and she asked, do you have me time, crocheting and knitting time at certain times of the day? So yes, it's in the evenings, usually not during the day, but that really is me time for me. I don't consider that work at all. I consider that just fun. That's my downtime. That's my hobby time. That's my relaxing time, and I love it. So this one is not a question, but it is from Farm Girl Makes, and she just said, just want to say I love you. I love following you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all your support. So the next question is from Knit Fantastic on Instagram, and she said, do you have any tips for knit animal feet? Now this one's a really hard question for me to answer right now because I'm not sure which pattern you're talking about. Is it feet in general? Is it a specific topic? Is it the shoes from Little Cotton Rabbits, which I think that's maybe what you're asking. Because these are not my patterns, I cannot make a video and show you, oh, here's how you make the shoes from the Little Cotton Rabbits. But what I typically try to do if I'm working on a section that is very difficult for me and I'm having a really hard time working through it, I really go through and I read the pattern very slowly, and I start trying to think about what is the designer trying to get me to do. Also, if I have a digital copy of the pattern, I like to zoom in as close as I can to really see if there's a good photo of exactly what this designer is trying to get me to do. That's what I really recommend. If you're having an issue with one little section, there's Olive down there playing in a bag. If you have one section that you are really struggling with, try those two things. Try to almost interpret, what does she want you to do? Then try. And if you can't really get it, try your own technique and see if you can get a result that you're happy with. So Little Heart Creations on Instagram asked, how do I fit it all in? Well, here's one of the biggest tips is when your children are mostly grown. My youngest is 18 now. It is amazing how much more time you end up having. So at this point, I have no young children. I have 24 down to 18. All 4 of my kids are really legally adults. They don't need me quite as much, so I have so much more time. I don't have a job outside of the home. My husband travels a lot and we have an adult disabled son that I still need to be home to help him and drive him places. But for the most part, I have a lot more free time on my hands now than I did even just a few years ago. So Teresa from Changes in Attitude, she is my neighbor, by the way. She asked, how do you always get the best pictures of Olive in Jersey? Well, I actually have a couple of good tips for that. Number one with, oh, I'm itchy right here. Number one with Jersey Boy, he is the most food motivated animal on God's green earth. So if I have a piece of chicken or a piece of cheese or a little bit of peanut butter on my finger, I can get him to do anything I want. The only thing I really can't do is to get him to roll over. He freaks out when he tries to roll over. If I want him to sit and look directly at me in the camera, all I have to do is have a little piece of chicken and that dog will do anything I ask. Now for Olive, she's not quite food motivated like that, but what I do is I get some kind of a little toy or something rustly because she loves things that have a crinkly or rustly little sound, and I will get my camera and I dangle it over and she sits there and she looks at it intently, which almost looks as if she is looking straight at the camera. So anything that your animal, I know you have a dog, Teresa, anything that maybe he really is gonna focus on, that's what I would use right there where you want him to look. So Lori 3891 on Instagram asked this question. I think this is a really interesting one. What was it that prompted you to make podcast videos and also gave you the courage? Oh, this is such a good one. Once I started knitting and crocheting, I kind of knew that I wanted to share what I was doing and connect with other makers. I started an Instagram account, and then I realized I had more to share. I wanted to dive into topics a little bit deeper, and it just wasn't great to do that on Instagram. So I knew I wanted to start a blog. And then not long after that, Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone developed a blogging course. And in her course, she talks about, hey, if you're making a blog post, it's really not that big of a leap to make a YouTube video to go along with it because people are consuming content in different ways than they used to. So 10 years ago, you could get away with just having a blog and people would flock to it, and that's the way kind of the social media maker world worked at that point. But now people are consuming more and more content on video. So I sort of look at my blog post as the script, and I don't read it, I don't follow it exactly, but what I do is I almost use it as my outline, and it's also a bit of a home base for me, and if I write a little pattern or something, I can put it on the blog. But the video is really where I'm seeing probably the most growth because that is where people are going for content at this point. Now, I also enrolled in Lisa's Video for Bloggers course, and that's where she broke down exactly how to do everything. And I actually talked about that in my video, how I got monetized on YouTube as a maker. So if you're interested in kind of getting a little more detailed into that, please check that video out. But the courage really came from just making the videos and being absolutely terrible at them and just making them again and making them again. And after a while, you just stop caring how stupid you look and you just want to get the content out there. And really, people want to connect with people on video. You get to know me so much more better on video than you do a blog post. You can hear my voice, you can see my mannerisms, you can see my bags under my eyes. You just really get to know people in a better way. And I really feel like people are less interested in perfection anymore and they want genuine and they want authentic. My advice, if you are thinking about starting a podcast style video for yourself, is just to start doing them. And the first ones are going to be terrible and you're going to hate them. And trust me, my earlier ones, they're just cringy. I cringe. I won't even watch them. There is no way I would go back and watch one of them. And I'm sure I'm going to feel that way in a couple of years when I look back on these videos right now, because I just think you have to do certain things. It's sort of like you can read about riding a bike, but until, my phone keeps going off, I'm sorry. But until you actually get on the bike and just start doing it, you got to fall down some, you got to not steer right, you got to, run into things, all the things that kids do when they learn how to ride a bike. And that's sort of like what you need to do with YouTube videos as well. The last question is from Karen, and she actually sent this to me on Facebook. She asked, how do you price handmade items? And that is a video that I have never done because number one, it is just a very, very difficult thing to price handmade. And number two, I feel like it's a very personal choice what you want to charge. I used to go through and do like this formula for the material materials and my hours and all this, and it never made sense to me how much the cost ended up being. It was ridiculous. Nobody is going to buy a knitted bunny for $300. But if I were to give myself an amount per hour, a set dollar amount per hour, you're looking at ridiculous prices that nobody is going to pay. I heard somewhere, and I'm not exactly sure where I heard this, but to price items for what you feel is fair. That you feel like it's fair to you, that you would be happy to sell this item for that price, and you also feel like it is fair for the buyer. That's really how I go about it. If there's something very, very detailed and it took a long time, I'm gonna price it higher than something that was a little bit quicker and a little bit more simple. Or if I used really nice materials compared to maybe a little more budget friendly, I'm gonna price that differently. But really what it comes down to for me is, do I feel happy about selling this for this price? So here's little Olive. She has been having so much fun. Every day we take her out on her stroller and take her for walks, and she is really enjoying it. We've not taken her to the beach with her little harness because I think that would sort of freak her out, and I am absolutely terrified of losing her down here. We're not really doing that, but she's really safe in her little stroller because it's all zipped up. But she honestly has loved being here. When we first got here, she was a little bit freaked out. I was a little bit concerned that she wasn't going to like it, but then she just started getting used to it and was exploring, and she's happy that her family is here with her. So she's doing good, that little girl, and she has her blanket and her basket and all of her toys, and you know, it was like packing up for a baby to come down here with her. But Jersey Boy is at my mom's house. Jersey Boy is at my mom's house right now. He is enjoying being with her because my mom has Pippa. I gotta put her down. My mom has her dog Pippa, and Jersey and Pippa are buddies. So, and my mom just spoils Jersey Boy rotten. So don't think that poor Jersey Boy is stuck somewhere miserable. He is living his best life at Granny B's house. So thank you so much for stopping by the Le Petit Saint Crochet YouTube channel today. You know I appreciate you all so very much. I'm going to leave links. There's Olive again getting in the box. I'm going to leave links for everything that I talked about in the description box below. And as always, if you would please hit that like button, that subscribe button. And I would love to know, are you a beach person? Do you love coming to the beach? I absolutely burned the snot out of my legs yesterday. And so I'm not heading to the beach today because literally I put sunscreen everywhere else but not my legs, and I am sort of in pain still today. They're gonna peel. It's gonna be disgusting. But as always, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate every single one of you so very much, and I will see you soon.